any question or if you are not clear, you can always stop me anytime, yeah? Stop recording pula. Okay, let's look into your tutorial question. Do you have this? Can you see the tutorial capital allowance?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can, okay, answer me quicker so that I don't have to spend 2 seconds to wait for your answer. All right, thank you. All right, so we have question number 1 where you have your rapid in neighborhood. Mana orang masuk ni? So now we have 53. So hopefully no more students coming in. Rapid neighborhood is a company involved in manufacturing of computer microchips. The accounting period of the company ends on 30th September each year. In the basis year 2017, the management of the company changes its accounting period to 31st March and thereafter. The following are the accounting periods and adjusted income before and after the changes. So it means that initially the company has a year end of 30th of September. And then they changed to 31st March. So you can see that in the first basis period here, accounting period here is 1st October 2016 to 30th of September 2017 with adjusted income of 92,000. Then, we have extra now. Then we have changed our accounting year end to 31st of March. But for the accounting period, because of the change of accounting year end, the company has an accounting period of 1st October 2017 to 31st March 2019, right? And then the adjusted income for that period is 180,000. So how long is the period here? How many months of the new accounting period? Anyone?
18.
How many months? How many months is the
18
new accounting period? 18 months. Okay, so when you have 18 months, all right, this period, okay, so when you have change of accounting year end, so this topic is very important because why you need to determine the basis period. So your basis period must be correct in order for you to determine the year of assessment. All right, so once you have the basis period, then you know what is the year of assessment for that basis period. Then whenever given information about your plant and machinery in this case or your fixed asset, then you can determine when is the first year that you're going to claim your capital allowance on the asset that you acquired. All right. So when you have changed at accounting year end, all right, as a recap, so when there's a change, you have to look at, okay, the new accounting period, how long is the period? Is it less than 12 months or is the new period more than 12 months? So in this case, you know that the period is 18 months. So it means that the period is more than 12 months. So what do you do? Next is that, okay, it's 18 months. Then look at the year end, 31st March 2019. Is the year 2019, is it the following year or the previous year? So the previous accounting period ends on 30th of September 2017. So you have to see whether is it the new accounting period, is it closed in the following year, which is 2018, or is it closed in the third year, in this case 2019? So looking back at the information provided to you, then you have to know, okay, now you have 18 months period and the year ends on the third year because why is closed on 31st March 2019. So 2019 and 2017, right? The year before that. So that is a third year. So when you have the third year, then what you do, if the account is more than 12 months closed in the third year, then you're going to divide that new accounting period into 2 periods, right? Given the periods is 18 months, then you're going to divide that into 2. So 18 divided by 2, you have 9 months for the first part and 9 months for the second part. Is that clear? So this is a recap of your change of accounting year end. I believe you have done this in your text 1, right? You must have done that because this is your tutorial question in your text 1. Anyone not clear about this?
Clear.
Okay, all right. So now you know that you're going to divide this period into 2 periods, and then the following period you can accept that because that is closed on the 31st March for 12 months period, so that is acceptable. So you don't have to do any changes for the March 2020. You only have to do the changes in the period 1st October 2017 to 31st March 2019. So how are you going to do that? All right, you are given that what's the period just now? I think that it was from 1st October 2017. First, mana buat kat mana ni Insert. Okay, the period is 1st October 2017 until 31st March 2019. So this is the period that you have to change, right? Because the period is 18 months. So you're going to, so the period, so you're going to divide this period into 2 periods, 9 months each. So means that you're going to have that from 1st October. So macam mana you nak tahu 9 months? So you know that you have 1st October 2017 for 9 months, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So you have until 30th of June, right? 30th of June 2018. So because of that, you're going to have the first period as 1st October. Right, you are going to have the first period 1st October 2017 until 30th of June 2018. And the second period you start from June, maknanya you start from July lah. July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So you have that until 31st March 2019. All right, so break up the period 18 months into 2 periods. So in this case, you have 9 months and 9 months. Let's say the period is 17 months. So you can have it until 9 and 8 months. Normally, we have 9 and 8 months lah. All right, the first period is 9 months. The second period is 8 months. Yeah. So that's on that. Okay, and then for 2020, there's no change. So you just continue to have the same period 1st April 2019 to 31st March 2020. So once you have all these amended basis period, so you know that now you have YA 2017 because you always refer to the N here, right? The N here will decide what is the period for that. Nak letak warna apa warna kuning lah. Nampak tak? Tak nampak. Warna merah. Okay, so that tak nampak pula. Tak apalah. The N 2017 means that refers to YA 2017. Alright, the new period that you have ends 2018, so it means that is for YA 2018. Then you have 31st March 2019, so it means that YA 2019. And finally, you have 31st March 2020, that is your YA 2020. So you no longer use this period, you can delete the period. Okay, so how are you going to divide the income? Right, how are you going to divide the income? So in this case, you have not this one, yeah, 9 months and 9 months. So what the initial? I nak tulis kat mana ni insert lah kat sini. Okay, never mind. Okay, initial, what is the income? The adjusted income for 2017, because you do not make any changes, so you just take this amount, right, as it is lah. You have 92,000 for the first year, right? And then for the second period, you divide that into two similar periods. All right, 9 months each, so it means that 180,000. Okay, and the third period and this the fourth period, you don't make any changes, so the adjusted income remains at 120,000. Is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, madam.
So that is. So why you need to decide on the basis period first, because you need to see what is the year of assessment. And then when talk about plant and machinery, all right, you have to look at the date of acquisition so that you can decide when do you actually acquire the asset, in which year of assessment. So how you decide that, you have to look at the date of acquisition and then check, okay, the date fall into which basis period, and that basis period fall into which year of assessment. Yeah, and similarly for the date of disposal, right? You want to know when you dispose the asset, which YA. So look at the date of the disposal, plug that into the basis period, then you get which year of assessment. Okay, so now we have, for example, now we have done with the first part. The second part give you information about your asset. You have motor vehicle. All right, so remember that motor vehicle, there are two types of motor vehicle. One is the commercial motor vehicle, for example, the lorry, all right, the whatever used for commercial purpose. Yeah. The other one is a passenger car. All right, passenger car means that a normal 5-seater car, lah, right? As long as it's used for passenger usage. Yeah. So the difference between these two is that the motor vehicle for commercial purpose, there's no restriction on the qualifying expenditure. Whatever you incur, that is your QE. But for your passenger car, right, the qualifying expenditure is restricted depending on the cost of the motor vehicle. Right, it says that there are two categories whereby if the cost, I think that I put here somewhere, right here. All right, for passenger car, if the cost of the motor vehicle is 150 or more, right? Is it more or equal 150, right? Then the QE of the passenger car is restricted to 50,000. So it means that if in this case you purchase the motor vehicle, in this case passenger car, cost you 165,000, the QE is only 50,000. It's restricted. Right, but if the cost is less 150,000, for example, if you purchase the car cost you 120,000, so then the QE is restricted to 100,000. But if the car is 80,000, then the QE is also 80,000, as long as it does not exceed 100,000. Yeah, the QE cannot exceed 100,000. But if the cost is more than that, then you have to restrict the QE, whether it could be 50,000 or it could be 100,000, depending on the cost of the motor vehicle. So in this example, for we have 160,000. What would be the QE? What would be the QE for Honda Civic passenger car?
50,000.
50,000, because the cost is more than 150,000. Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to look into the asset that acquire. You have motor vehicle, all right, that acquired on 15 October 2016 for 125,000. So for your first motor vehicle, 15 October. So look back, 15 October 2016. Where is your 15 October 2000? Sorry, I think 2016. So it falls in YA 2017, isn't it? So it means that for your motor vehicle, okay, you will have that for your motor vehicle, what is the you first purchase? All right, I think that I have something here. Wait, okay. So the cost 120,000 is motor vehicle, is for commercial motor vehicle. So there's no restriction on the QE, and that acquisition date fall in the first basis period. So that refers to YA 2017. So you decide that, okay, in 2017, I'm going to claim IA and AA for my motor vehicle. So what's the rate for the motor vehicle commercial car? What's the IA and AA?
20%. 20%.
So 20%, 20%. So how you get is that 125,000 times by 20% for the IA, and then you also have AA of 20%. So you claim in the 2017, you claim IA and AA 20,000, 25,000 each. And once you have that computation and you know that is there any disposal, there's no disposal. So you can claim the asset for the following 3 years. All right, you can just plug in the figure immediately, 25,000, 25,000 each. Yeah. So you claim that in 2017, 18, 19, and 20. So if you look at the rate, all right, IA 20%, AA 20%. First year you claim 40%, and then 2018 you claim another 20%. Okay, and then 2019 another 20%. 2020 you claim another 20%. So total the 100% that you have claimed on the asset. Can you claim any more in 2021? You cannot, even though the motor vehicle is still used in the business. All right, you can no longer claim the capital allowance on the motor vehicle in 2021 because why? The RE, or the residual expenditure of the asset, is already zero, right? Right, you cannot claim more than 100% of capital allowance on any of your assets. Okay. Is that clear? All right. So the second asset that you have is your office equipment. And this office equipment was acquired on 3rd of June 2017. So get the information first. So when you acquired that in 3rd June 2017, when is that? 3rd June 2017 is also in 2017. Right? 3rd June 2000, salah. Huh? Sorry. 3rd June 2017. Oh, where is it? Yelah, YA 2017, isn't it? So that asset is acquired within this basis period and that is reflected in YA 2017. So you will have your office equipment, all right, first claim in 2017. But remember that office equipment, the rate is 20% IA and AA is 10%. Okay. Additional information provided is that you dispose the office equipment on 1st May 2019 for 40,000 ringgit. Right? You dispose on 1st of May. So disposal on 1st of May, when is 1st of May? 1st of May 2019 is here. Salah. It's 2020. Alright, 1st May 2019 fall within this period. Is that clear? 1st May fall into this period. 1st April 2019 to 31st March. So 1st May fall within this period. So it means that you're going to dispose the asset in YA 2020. Right? Remember that there's no CA claim in the year of disposal. So for this asset, office equipment, you're going to claim initial allowance of 18,000 in 2017. Annual allowance of 10% is office equipment. So what you have in 2018 and 2019 also, right? And then 2020 is the year of disposal. And remember that in the year of disposal, there's no claim for your allowances. So you zero rise kat situ. So when in the year of disposal, of course, you have to compute your RE. But before that, you also have to check, all right, under normal circumstances, when you have your disposal, right, in the year of disposal, you don't claim any CA, right? Then you determine how much is your RE. Then what do? Then whatever the RE you compare with your disposal value, then you determine whether it's a balancing charge or balancing allowance. But in this office equipment, it's a very special because why? Based on the information provided, you acquired the asset on 3rd February 2017. But you dispose the asset on 28th February 2019. So if you have this, all right, let's say you are the 3rd February, sorry ya, mana nak buat ni? Okay. Let's say 3rd Feb, mana nak buat ni? 3rd February 2017, okay? 17, and then you dispose of, okay, apa jadi macam ni? Mazat. Okay. I nak buat kat mana 3rd February 2017, and then you dispose of bila? 20, mana dia? 1st May 2019. 1st May 2019, right? So if you were to look at, for this asset, 1 full year is until 2nd February 2018. Okay. Apa buat ni? 2 Feb 2018. Okay. So that is 1 year. So when you want to compute whether how long is the period, means that from the day of purchase until the day before the day of purchase in the following year. So you purchase 3rd February, makna full 1 year is 2nd February 2018. So that is 1 year. All right. And then another period is that from 3rd Feb 2017 until 2nd Feb 2018. So that is another, 2019. Okay. That is another 1 year. But when do you actually dispose of? Ni disposal macam,
Madam, the date of purchase June.
Huh? Mana ambil Februari tu? Okay,
Madam
silap.
terambil Honda
3rd
Civic.
of June. Okay, saya 3 Jun. 3rd of June. Betul? So kat sini maknanya 2 Julai. Am I right?
Yes, madam.
So and then this one is 3rd of June. Maknanya kat sini kena Julai. Betul? So this is another 1 year lah. So in order for you to have the asset for a complete 2 years, maknanya you cannot hold the asset until 2nd of July 2019. The problem is the company dispose of the asset on 1st of May 2019. Kalau 1st of May maknanya the asset is not fully 2 years. So it means that the company dispose of the asset within 2 years from the date of acquisition. So when that happened, all right, the company has to be, the asset has to be clawed back. Claw back, right? Maknanya claw back, it means that just like cerita Wolverine, all right, you claw back means that in the first year government has given you. So look at this, yeah. For this office equipment, right, 2017 government give you deduction of how much is that? 25,000. All right, and then another 9,000 2018, another 9,000 in 2019. But 2020, when you dispose of, even though it's YA 2020, but the actual holding period of the asset is less than 2 years. All right. So the law says that, okay, capital allowance is for long-term asset, it's for fixed asset that lasts for more than 2 years. But why do you have this asset and then you claim capital allowance, but then later within 2 years you dispose of the asset? So the government say no, because you dispose of within 2 years, I'm going to take back whatever allowance that I have given to you in 17, 18, and 19. So that's why the issue of clawback comes in. Yeah. So why you have to claw back? Because the asset was disposed within 2 years without any commercial justification. If it's a commercial justification, it's okay. Then you do a normal disposal. But in this case, you have to claw back. It means that whatever that I have claimed, I given you, I'm going to take back. Right? I've given you total deductions of 45,000. So I'm going to take back in the form of giving you a balancing charge. Remember that all these 70, 80, 90, the allowances is given as a deduction, capital allowance. So how I'm going to take back the 45,000 that I've given you for the last 3 years? So I'm going to impose a balancing charge. So how am I going to impose that? Whatever that I've given you here, I take back. All right, take back in YA 2020 in the form of balancing charge. So what you do is that you compute all that allowances that is given here. So total is 45,000. That 45,000 will be treated as a balancing charge in YA 2020. Is that clear? All right, remember when there's a disposal within 2 years without commercial justification, then you have to claw back the asset. But if it's not, then you have to then it's a different issue lah, right? Then you have to determine what is the residual expenditure, what is the disposal value, and then what is the whether it's a balancing charge or balancing allowance. So, but in this case, right, because clawback immediately total allowance claim will be treated as a balancing charge in YA 2020. Okay?
Madam,
Yes.
what's an example of a valid commercial justification?
Oh, contohnya, for example, you're talking about motor vehicle, for example, or even plant and machinery. It could be involved in a fire, atau ada flood, ataupun the asset cannot be used because of the wrong specification, for example. So all these are something that is not simply disposed by the company, right? There's a reason for the disposal, reason which is commercially justified. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, so that is the first item, office equipment. Then we have, what else do we have? All right, then we have a Honda Civic here. Yeah, Honda Civic, remember that the amount of QE is restricted to 50,000. And when is the acquisition? Honda Civic, 3rd February 2017. Then you look back to 3rd February 2017 is in 2017. Right, YA 2000. Betul kan? Alright. So means that you're going to claim that asset in 2017 onwards, 10,000 in 2017, 10,000 again, right? And then annual allowance 2018. But you all also provide the information that the asset was disposed of. Yeah, it was disposed on 28th of February 2019. 28 February 2019, 28. So it will be in 2019, right? But remember that in this case, the clawback does not apply because the period is longer than 2 years. The acquisition period is longer. So you are going to dispose in 2019. You're not going to claim any allowances in 2019, but you're going to compute how much is your residual expenditure. So how you compute your residual expenditure is your 50,000 here, all right? You minus all allowances that you have claimed, all right? 50,000 minus 30,000, then you have your RE of 20,000. Are you okay? Okay. But now your disposal value, right? So how much you sell? You can sell the passenger car for 140,000. It's very expensive. Not expensive. I mean, the value is high as compared to the RE. Why is it the RE is very low, but the disposal value is 140,000? If you have 140,000 disposal value, you would have a balancing charge of 120,000, isn't it? So what do you mean by balancing charge? Means that the company has to pay tax on that 120,000. It's not fair to the company because the high balancing charge is because you have restricted the qualifying expenditure, because the value of the disposal, 140,000, is not based on 50,000. The 140,000 that you can sell the motor vehicle is based on the value, actual value of 165,000. Yeah, the original value is 165,000. That's why you can sell at 140,000. So because of that, all right, the disposal value, when you restrict your QE, you also have to restrict your disposal value. It's not fair for the company to pay excessively on the balancing charge because the QE is restricted. So to be fair, we are going to restrict your disposal value. So how are you going to do that? You're going to look at you restrict amount 50,000, right? Total qualifying expenditure is, total cost is 165,000. So what you do is that you're going to restrict your disposal value based on the restriction on the qualifying expenditure. So 50 over 165, which is the total cost, times by the disposal value. All right, so for that, you will have your restricted disposal value of 42,424. Do you get the same amount? The restricted disposal value is, instead of 140,000, it is 42,424. So because of that, you only have a balancing charge of 22,424. Right, a balancing charge of 22,424. So what happened is that when you have this 22,424 in the year of disposal, which is the year 2019, you are going to have a balancing charge of 22,424. Okay, all right. Any question on this? So far so good? Okay, all right. So next we go to the next item where we have the cutting machine. Right, similarly, the cutting machine, you have acquired the machine on 30th of July 2018, but it was disposed on 17th September for 120,000. Again, you have a disposal, right? But even though you do have disposal on this question, right, it's very, very interesting. The first disposal where you have to apply clawback. The second disposal where you have the restriction on the QE, so you have to restrict your disposal value. On the third condition, all right, the asset is that I think that you have to, when is the acquired on? Cutting machine acquired 30th July 2018, go back to your basis period 30th July. So it means that it's 2019. 30th July 2018 you purchase. So that is in YA 2019. So you claim in 2019. Sekejapnya, view. Okay, 2019. Cutting machine means that you claim here. Am I too fast? Ada. Okay. And then you dispose on 17th of September 2019. So for this cutting machine, the rate is IA is 20%, but the annual allowance is 14%. It's a general machine, right? Don't claim 20%. It's only 14% on the asset. But again, you have to check what is the holding period of the asset. Right, in this case, it seems that it's less than 2 years. Again, you have to apply the clawback principle. Yeah. So you dispose that in 2020, 17 September 2019. Mana dia? Apa dia tak nak pula ni? Kan sebab I freeze dia kot. Dia tak nak pergi naik atas. Ni tak mahulah pula. Alright, so I think that the disposal is in YA 2020, yeah. So bila you ada YA 2020 means that you are not going to claim any allowance in 2020. But because it's a clawback, the holding period is less than 2 years, whatever deduction or claim or allowance that has been given will be taken back, will be clawed back and treated as a balancing charge in YA 2020, which is the year of disposal. Yeah, so you have another balancing charge in YA 2020. Just now you have YA 2020 also 45, and then you have another 51,000 in YA 2020. All right, and finally, I think that we have furniture and fittings. Where is our furniture and fittings? Right, I think that we can have this. Right, the cost is 100,000. But the IA and AA is, what is the IA and AA? It's 20% initial allowance and 10% annual allowance, right? So for that, you will have, so now you have all the assets taken into account. Remember that you are required to do, okay, you should read the requirement first before you do the question. All right, make sure that you read the requirement. You are required to determine the basis period and just the income. We have done that, all right, and then you have to compute the capital allowance for YA 2017 to 2020 and capital allowance and statutory business income, right? So that's what we are going to do. We have done on the CA. So now, based on this information, all right, you see that you have all this asset, motor vehicle, office equipment, Honda Civic, cutting machine, and furniture. Right now, you want to compute what is the total CA for 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. All right, remember that you need this information in order for you to compute your statutory income. So, for 2017, you have this total 25, 25, 18, 19, 18, 10 semua ni. That is your total allowance that you claim for 2020. 2017. I hope that I have it here. Okay. Okay. So if you look at here, so for 2017, get slow. Can you see that? Okay, for 2017, you have a total CA of 97. How you get that is all in this column. So that's why I like you to do your computation in this form so that you get the total CA for the year at the bottom. Yeah, total up all your columns for 2017. Similarly, for 2018, you have 44,000 where it comes from 25 plus 9 plus 10. 25 plus 9, 34, 44,000. But in 2019, careful, yeah, because in 2019, you have 25,000 and then you have 9,000. So that is a 34,000 already. But here you have a balancing charge. So it's not a capital allowance. Then you have another 30 and 21 capital allowance. And then you total capital allowance is 85,000. Right? So it means that again, 25,000 plus 9,000 plus 51,000. So you should get 85,000 capital allowance. But the 22424 is what we call balancing charge. So do not mix between the two. You have CA of 85,000 and you also have a 22,424 of balancing charge. Similarly, for 2020, you have capital allowance of 25,000. All right, this one is for your motor vehicle. But for OE, you have clawback or balancing charge of 45,000. And then you have another clawback of 51,000 and furniture and fitting capital allowance of 30,000. So total CA is 25 plus 30 is 55,000. But your CA, the two CA, one is 51,000. The other one is 45,000. So total balancing charge is 96,000. Right? So now you have the total CA and total balancing charge for the respective years of assessment. So now let's put together all the information where you are given the adjusted income, then you have to compute the statutory income. Right? We have computed the adjusted income before, right? Remember when we have all that information. So let's look at Okay, let's look at this. Okay, I want you to have this format where you have your adjusted income at your balancing charge. Yeah, adjusted income plus balancing charge, then only you have your capital allowance. And that capital allowance is made up of your brought forward plus your current year. Based on these two information, you have your CA available, and then you have to decide of all the available CA, how much you are going to utilize for the year, depending on how much you have. And also it depends on how much is your adjusted income and your balancing charge. All right, then you decide, is there any more CA available that I can carry forward to next year? So all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CA has to appear in your workings, because when you do your tax incentive later, you are required to compute the statutory income of a company given the CA, all right, then you have to work for 5 years, just like this format. 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 2021, 5 years. So here in 4. So when you do tax incentive, you have to do 5 years punya computation, right? So let's put your adjusted income, you have decided just now, right? It's 92,000, and then you divided the first adjusted income into 2, 90,000 each. And then for 2020, you have 120,000, right? And then you add your balancing charge. So you look at the information dekat atas ni lah. So this is the information that you're going to use. Yeah. So use this information, you plug in the information. So BC here is 0, here is 0, but here you have your balancing charge. Yeah, 22,424, and then you have another 96,000 for 2020, right? So the formula is always that you have adjusted income plus your balancing charge. Yeah, but you don't have to put the total here. Right, normally we don't show that in total. Format dia memang tak buat lah total. Okay, and then you have your CA brought forward. For 2017, what is your CA? CA is brought forward 0. You don't have anything information about the previous brought forward CA. But for the current year, how much your CA? You go back to the top one. Right, based on this, that's your CA. 97,000. So how much available? Brought forward plus current year, this is your available amount, 97,000. How much you're going to utilize? It depends. All right, you look at your adjusted income and balancing charge here. All right, so you decide, okay, I have 97,000 CA, but my income, total income here is only 92,000. So I'm going to utilize 92,000 only. Yeah, so utilize 92,000 only means that I have a balance of 5,000, and this 5,000 CA I can carry forward to next year. So when next year I will have a brought forward in amount of 5,000. Right, so that's why I want you to show, because when you do a complicated computation, you need the flow. How much you're brought forward, how much your current year, how much is available, how much you're going to utilize, how much you carry forward, then you know, oh, my total income. How much is my statutory income in this case? This case here is my statutory income is nil. Yeah, you can put nil or 0 kat situ. Okay. When it comes to 2018, you do the same. You have brought forward figure of 5,000. How much is the current year? Current year either 44,000. How much is available? 49,000. Are you following? Okay. So now you have to decide. I have a CA of 49,000, but my income is 90,000. So how much CA should I utilize? Nak pakai semua atau tak nak pakai?
Semua.
Use everything, yeah. So because you want to minimize your tax, your SI as much as you can, so that you can pay lower tax liability. So whatever allowance that you have, use it, right? You don't have to keep it lah. Oh, tak nak lah this year, I want to use next year. No, you keep everything. Yeah, so means that in this case, you don't have any CA to be carried forward. But do you have a statutory income? What would be your statutory income?
41,000.
41,000 because your adjusted income is 90,000, but your CA is only 49,000. So means that you have a balance of income which is not absorbed by your CA. So you have a statutory income of 41,000. Clear? All right. So when you go your 2019, all right, you have brought forward figure 0. You don't have anything, but current year, how much you have? You have 85,000. Right, so how much is available? 85,000 lah. How much you're going to utilize? You have income of 90,000 plus a balancing charge of 22424. So total here is already 112,000. How much you're going to utilize? Use everything that you have, all right, in order to reduce your tax liability. Because you utilize everything, there's nothing to be carried forward. But how much is your statutory income? How much is your statutory income? Anyone?
27,424.
27,424. Yes, correct. Yeah, because you have to add these two items minus your capital allowance of 85,000, then you get a statutory income of 27,424. Right? Similarly, you do the same for your 2020. There's no brought forward amount, but the current year you have 55,000 CA, right? Remember that you have a balancing charge and adjusted income total here is 216,000, but the CA available is only 55,000. So it means that you will have your statutory income. You use everything. There's nothing to be carried forward, but then your SI is 161,000. Okay, so you see that the question looks very simple. All right, you're given one page question, but the working in order for you to come to the final figure, right, is quite lengthy, isn't it? It's quite lengthy because I have a few more at the top there. Yeah, so it's not that unfreeze. Right, you remember that you have to determine the basis period and then you have to compute the CA. If there is any CA, is there any balancing charge? From there, you plug in your information, adjusted income, all the CA that you have computed, then you come to your statutory income, right? So that is a complete question on your plant and machinery. Of course, you don't have here on the hire purchase, but I think that you can do that also because hire purchase it's a bit different, the computation, because it's based on amount incurred that you pay for the year of assessment. Then you have to do a bit of different, right? The computation. The basis is still there, but it's just that the method of computation is a bit different. Yeah. So that is on your plant and machinery. Do you have any question on that?
Madam,
Yes.
for asset use less than 2 years,
Okay.
is theft considered as commercial justification?
No, if it's a commercial, it has to be stated.
Oh, I see.
It has to be commercially disposed, right? Ataupun dia kata based on commercial justification, the asset is disposed of on something. It must be stated in the question. If it's not stated, then it means that it's not for commercial justification.
All right. Thank you.
Right? Okay. Other than that,
Madam,
yes.
for the Honda Civic that you do the portion for the disposal value,
Yes.
it's only applicable for if there's a restriction, right?
Yes, only if you restrict the QE, then you restrict the disposal value.
Oh, so like, okay, you understand.
Ha. So how you restrict the disposal value, depending lah, you restrict the QE is 50, then look at the cost. What is the actual cost of the, because you want to apportion. The logic is that you want to apportion the disposal value based on the qualifying expenditure. Even though the actual disposal value is 140,000, but based on the restriction of your QE, disposal value is computed as 42,424. Right? You restrict this. That's how you do the computation on the restriction of your disposal value.
Madam?
Yes.
So let's say if it's a commercial justification, so we
Okay.
just calculate it as
Yeah, you just
usual.
calculate like this, RE, what is the disposal value, what is the BA or BC.
Alright.
Normal. Yeah, tapi of course you don't have to restrict lah because this one is restriction. But the method for normal disposal is always your RE, compare your disposal value, then you decide whether is it a BC or a BE. Okay. Any more question? You must get
Madam?
this. Yes.
Okay. For question 3, we need to calculate the capital allowance for television. So the annual allowance for television should be classified under ICT equipment.
Sorry. Question number 2 is it?
Question number 3.
Number 3. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then the
Okay.
question
We
is,
need to calculate the capital allowance for television. Okay.
we have to compute the capital allowance for,
For television.
where's the TV? Where's the television?
The remaining of the question.
Oh,
yeah,
number 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
number 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There are
the annual
office
allowance
use.
for television should be under
Television
which part?
is office equipment.
Office equipment. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you want to put under which category? Motor vehicle?
ICT equipment.
ICT? No, it's not ICT. Projector could be ICT.
Yes, projector and printers.
And where is it? Printer. Projector is IT, but television is not IT. It's office equipment. Okay.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Any more question? All right. So make sure that you also do your for hire purchase, so that this one question, yeah, on hire purchase. Make sure that you get the qualifying expenditure correct. And make sure that the amount that you pay every month is only the capital portion, right? So check whether this amount, is this a capital portion or capital plus interest, right? Because you don't have to check on that actually. Based on, if you have this 150, you minus 45,000. So how much you have? 450 minus 45 is 405, is it? Then 405 you divide by 60. So that will be your capital portion every month. Whatever the balance, cost minus deposit, divide by number of months or number of repayment, then you get your capital portion. You don't worry whether it's 7050, break up in capital portion, interval, no need. You don't need to do that. You only need to know the capital portion so that you can compute what is your qualifying expenditure for the respective years of assessment. And also careful that, okay, you start installment in May. What is the basis period? When does it end? So you have to compute the number of months that you pay for the first year of assessment, right? The following year, normally 12 months. Right? The first year, you have to check whether is it 12 months period or it could be less, depending on, in this case, what is your year of assessment. Yeah. Yang ni pun ada change of accounting year end. So you have to check a year end here, this period, right? You have to check what is the what would be the basis period for that respective years of assessment. Salah. Sorry, Command Z. Not that one. This one, right? You change in, Command Z. 31st March, correct. This one. Right? 30th of September. So this period is less than 12 months. So do you accept that period as your basis period or not? What would be the rule for this change of accounting year end for question number 2? You change from March to September. So the new accounts, okay. The new accounts is here prepared for more or less than 12 months. What's the rule? Change of accounting year end. You all tengok ke tak ni? The new accounting period is less or more than 12 months.
Less than
More
12.
We have two answers here. The new accounting period, 1st April 2019 to 30th September 2019. How long is the period? How many months?
6.
6 months. April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months. So 6 less or more than 12?
Less.
Less than 12. So when less than 12, then you have to check. Is the period close the same year as before, or is it in the following year? So you're referring to this period, right? 2019, and the new account is also 2019. So it's the same year. So how are you going to do this? How are you going to remedy this period? So what would be the basis period for this new accounting year end? 30th September.
Add to the following year.
Add to the following. So it means that the new accounting period would be from 1st April, right? I buat apa ni? 1st April 2019 to 30th of September 2020. So you combine these two accounting period to be one, right? So 1st April 2019 to 30th September 2020, that would be YA 2020, right? So now you have YA 2017, YA 2018, YA 2019, and YA 2020. So the YA 2020, the period is longer, means that it's 18 months, right? But it's accepted as a basis period for YA 2020 because you have to follow the rules where the law says that when the accounting period is less than 12 months, you have to check whether the new accounting is closed in the same year or in the following year. If it's a following year, then you can accept that as your basis period. But in this case, it's in the same year as the previous year. So you combine the new accounting to the following year. So the new accounting period, 30th September 2019 to, you combine with 30th September 2020 to be one basis period, right? So in that case, you will combine also the adjusted income for 2020, 94,000 plus 298,000 to be the adjusted income for YA 2020, right? Combine these two also. Okay. Any more question?
It's 11 o'clock.
So 1st May 2016, 1st May 2016 is clearly here lah. So it will be YA 2017, right? So you have to decide how much is the the installment payment per month. Minus 45 divide by 60. How much is the monthly installment payment?
6,750.
6750. And what for 2017, YA 2017 year end is 31st March, means that how many months you pay? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. How many months? 11 months.
11.
11 months times by 6750, you have a QE of 675 pakai calculator times by 11, you will have the QE is 74,250. Am I right?
Yes.
That is QE for YA 2017. Then you compute lah. IA is 20%. Annual allowance is how much? 20 or 14?
20.
20 because it says a
Madam.
heavy machine.
Madam, sorry, madam.
Yes.
But for 2017, we need to add. We need to include also the deposit for QE, right?
Campur deposit. Yes, campur deposit 45,000. Sorry. Kan? So the 119,250. Betul?
Yes.
Remember that your qualifying expenditure under hire purchase, one is the deposit portion, the second portion is your installment payment times by the number of months you pay in the first year. Right, so total that will be your QE. In this case, it should be 119,250. Okay. Anything else? Dah pukul berapa ni? 11. Okay, I have to stop now because I want to go into industrial building allowance. I stop recording first because that is on plant machinery. Right, so we'll start